Season 25 of South Park has been good so far, so let's talk about it.
Come on down to South Park and meet some friends of mine.
Surprisingly enough, I haven't actually made a South Park video before. Which is strange, because it is one of my favourite cartoons. Though there are many shows I love that I also haven't spoken about. What makes this fact even stranger is that tons of South Park references and music are made in my own cartoon series. So the fact I haven't spoken about it in terms of a review just seems all the more dumb. So let me rectify that. Something that has always shocked me with South Park is its refusal to get bad. Shows hitting a decline is nothing new. Despite it being a show I love, Family Guy still has hit somewhat of a decline over the years, even if I do still like what it's putting out personally. The thing with South Park though is that the later seasons can very much be compared to some of the earlier seasons. There are definitely episodes from season 18 all the way to the current season that hold up in comparison to some of the episodes from seasons 4 to 11, my personal range of what I perceive as the Golden Age. Though that really doesn't mean much. Outside of a few seasons that have lackluster episodes here and there, I wouldn't necessarily call any season bad. Even season 2 or season 20, which have many bad qualities to them, still end up being just mediocre. Season 2 has a likable quality to it, and season 20 is just too ambitious to not at least respect for its scope. And besides, season 20 did start off really strong. It just got muddled up due to Trump winning the fucking election. They just aren't bad seasons. And all the other seasons, except maybe season 12, are good to amazing. Season 25 continues this trend. While being supposedly a shorter season than what we've been getting for the past 7 years, that doesn't make it any less good. In fact, it gives it an advantage. There's less you can fuck up in the span of 6 episodes compared to 10, is what I'm saying. So far there's been 3 episodes, with 3 more on the way. Whether or not this is simply the first run of episodes in a 12 episode season is something that's still not revealed, but it's very likely that this is just all we're getting for season 25. And the 2 movies we'll get this year will make up for the 4 episodes dropped from the average number. So anyway, these 3 episodes, Pajama Day, The Big Fix, and City People, have all been rather good, so let's talk about them. Let's start with the first one. Pajama Day may be the weakest of the 3, but it's still a rather good episode all around. We finally see Mr. Garrison back as a teacher after 7 fucking years of him out of the role. We see some greatness from him, mostly him voicing his personal life to the kids, one of my favourite running gags involving him. We get to see some usual adult antics where they act like morons, and we even get to see Wendy in a major role, something we haven't seen since season 17. And overall, it's a funny episode. The only thing I can kind of fault is the use of jokes that do get old after like 2 times. They just get kind of repetitive. The Nazi Germany stuff, the Matt Damon jokes, stuff like that. They are funny the first couple of times, but they are just used so much throughout it gets old. Again, there's still enough fun to be had outside of those jokes that it still makes for a solid episode, and I personally give it a 7 out of 10. Let's get to the next one. The Big Fix is the funniest episode of the 3 and probably the best, actually, let's face it. I absolutely love the retcon of Tolkien's name, and how the piece of shit characters thought his fucking name was Token. What kind of parents would call their child Token? Well, everyone in the audience did, because that's how the name has been used throughout the show. And that's why it's funny. The fact Matt and Trey would sacrifice show lore to gaslight the audience is just too priceless, and that's a major reason why this episode works so well. We also get a lot of Tegrity Farms action, which means a lot of people whining on Twitter about how it's a Tegrity episode before they've even seen it. Despite there being good episodes focusing on the farm, like Tegrity Farms, Banned in China, Let Them Eat Goo, and my personal favourite, The Pandemic Special. I personally don't get what the fuss is about. I've always liked Randy, so seeing him finally find an obsession he can stick with is a nice change of pace. And while he's doing bad stuff, Wait, you do realise what show this is, right? Anyway, enough of that. I like the plot of Randy and Tolkien's dad, it's funny, and I like how it ends with Tolkien's dad buying a farm across the street. There's also quite a bit of meta-commentary and meta-humour in this one, which it pretty much always works for me. I like that kind of stuff. I really can't wait to see a follow-up to this plot that they've started here, and I give this episode a 9 out of 10. Yeah, let's just move on. City People is very good, solely because of its simplicity. Cartman becomes a real estate agent just to mess with his mum, who's also become a real estate agent. Cartman obviously does this because he doesn't want to do things by himself at home, and his mum getting a job means he has to. The jokes about real estate agents are funny. I like the city people acting like flocks of annoying pigeons, and like all the stuff they do with Luke Kim as well. The ending where Cartman and Leanne have to move into a shitty hot dog house because they lose their current home is another interesting status quo shift. I wonder when Kyle and Kenny will lose their homes. Speaking of Kyle, Kenny, and even Stan, they aren't in this episode for some reason. So yeah, that's an interesting fact that you probably didn't even need to hear. I give this episode an 8 out of 10. I'm looking forward to seeing the next 3 episodes. I hope we get a Kyle episode or a Butters episode before the end of the season. Maybe even a finale that continues this Tegrity versus Credigree plot they've kicked off. I don't know, and neither does Matt and Trey because of how they make the show. Personally, the season so far is looking to be a solid one. There isn't a lot of bad stuff about it, and yeah, that's how I think. Anyway, what did you think of Season 25 so far? Like it? Hate it? Leave a comment and share your thoughts.